am a very big Rugrats fan. My love for the franchise started way back in 1991 when the animated series was introduced on Nicktoons. There's not a character on the show I dislike. I even like Angelica at times. But when it comes to my favorite, that has always belonged to three characters that have all been my favorite at one time or another. And that's Tommy, Grandpa, and Chuckie. And right now, that spot belongs to Chuckie.
We are doomed. Doomed, I tell you. I think I'm gonna like this guy.
And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I always knew I liked the character, but after recently going through the series, I started to realize that all my favorite episodes are Chuckie episodes. So in this video, I'm going to be looking at my top 10 favorite Chuckie episodes. So let's get this thing started. Mother's Day is a special, emotional, heartwarming episode that has you feeling almost every kind of emotion. And it starts with a lot of laughs. The gang feels bad for Chuckie because he doesn't have a mom, so they try to find him one. First trying Spike, then Lil. And when they both turn out to be lousy moms...
You're a worser mom than Spike. You spit on my face. You gave me ant milk.
They try Angelica next. Yeah, that's gonna work out. Not. Of course, Angelica loves bossing Chuckie around.
Oh, Bloody, where's my flower?
Chuckie eventually comes across a box with a picture of a lady Chuckie has been dreaming about but doesn't know it's his mom, and he decides to give it to his dad for Mother's Day. Chaz starts to realize it's time to tell Chuckie about his mother, something he has been scared to do because he doesn't want his son to be sad. But he knows deep inside that it's time.
Just afraid he'll miss her.
Then you can miss her together.
He starts to show Chuckie his mother's belongings, and you start to get filled with happy feelings inside. That is followed by a sad feeling that will have you shedding some tears, as Chad reads Chuckie a poem his mother wrote on her last days.
Though I must leave
Leave you behind me. This poem will tell you where you always can find me.
It ends leaving you with a warm feeling as Chuckie tells his friends about his mom. Mother's Day is an all-around special Rugrats episode that tugs at your heartstrings, giving you the backstory of Chuckie's mom that we all up to this point wondered about, and they did it with a lot of heart and thought. Not a lot of Rugrats episodes have this much emotion put into it, truly making it not just one of the best Chuckie episodes, but also Rugrats episodes of all time. Stu has made Tommy a new toy, Mr. Boppo. And when Chuckie comes over, let's just say he really likes Boppo.
Hi, I'm Boppo.
The others naturally get tired of Boppo and want to do other things, but Chuckie just can't get enough of Boppo, to the point where his friends start to worry about him.
A kid his age should be playing with his friends, not alone in a room bopping his boppo.
When they go to confront him about his obsession with Boppo, Chuckie misunderstands what they're trying to say.
Can you play with Boppo some other time? You mean I can take him home?
Chuckie is having the time of his life with Boppo, but the fun is about to end, as Angelica comes over and tells Chuckie something he has not recognized about Boppo.
Yeah, milk breath, clown doll. Which word didn't you understand? The clown? Why didn't I see it before?
So it turns out that Chuckie's favorite new toy turns out to be something that he is terrified of. Meanwhile, Tommy is missing Boppo and regrets his decision to let Chuckie take his punching bag toy. But Phil and Lil warn Tommy about asking for Boppo back.
Because you'd be a taker-backer. What's wrong with that?
And back at the Finster's house, now that Chuckie knows about Boppo's true identity, he doesn't really want Boppo around anymore, and feels it's time to give it back to Tommy. But Angelica tells Chuckie he can't do that. unless he wants to be a giver-backer. It ends with them talking it out and realizing they both want the same thing, for Boppo to go back with Tommy.
Thanks, Chuckie. You're the bestest friend a baby could ever have.
Oh my gosh, Chuckie has lost his feet! Give and Take is a classic episode I clearly remember watching over and over as a kid. I remember the first time watching it, I realized well before Chuckie that his new favorite toy was a clown. The thing that Chuckie's probably most terrified of. And I thought, well, this is going to end with him getting over his fear of clowns when he finds out he's been having so much fun with a clown. But I was wrong, and I'm glad I was. It just wouldn't have been the same. Chaz has tried everything to help Chuckie with his congestion, but Dee has an idea that Chaz hasn't tried.
Dr. Brander has come up with a device that will clear up even the stuffiest nose.
Chaz decides to take Chuckie to the specialist doctor, and she shows them a video on a lab rat named Cheddar, who had the same sinus problems as Chuckie. But after using her invention, Cheddar now has no problem finding the cheese. Chaz becomes hopeful and wants to try it out, but Chuckie is frightened, and for good reason, as the procedure looks like something out of a B-type horror movie. The next day, Chuckie goes to Tommy's house, and Tommy instantly recognizes there's something different about Chuckie.
It's me. What happened? You sound funny.
Tommy decides he's gonna take Chuckie on a smelling adventure around the house, showing him all different types of smells like flowers, tea, and even dirty laundry. But smelling is not the only thing that Chuckie can now do. He can also run, jump, and play like he never has. Eventually, both Cheddar and Chuckie's stuffy noses return, and in the end, they get to be together. Personally, I don't remember any episodes before Smell of Success that hint at Chuckie having breathing problems, beyond his nasally sounding voice, of course. And maybe that's what led them to say, yeah, an episode like that could work. I'm just glad they did it because it's a fun episode where we get to see Chuckie with new confidence in himself that we don't really get to see too often.
Yeah, well, he may be big, but I got my new nose.
It's also a rare episode where Angelica the bully actually gets bullied. Chaz tries to teach Chuckie about germs after catching him playing in the trash, under the bed, and even in the mud. But it doesn't seem to be working. That is until Chuckie has a dream. A dream that starts off with a nice game of playing in the trash. Oh, what fun Chuckie is having. But then a bunch of germs jump out of the trash, chase Chuckie down, and eat him alive. Well, so they don't exactly eat him, but it still was a very scary dream. The next day, Chuckie goes to Tommy's house and tells his friends about the scariest thing in the whole world. Germs.
Germs is little hairy jelly bean things that get in your body and make you sick.
No matter what game his friends want to play, Chuckie warns them that they're full of germs and that they should just sit still and wait for their parents to come back.
It may not be fun, but it's safe.
Tommy, Phil, and Lil, of course, don't want to do this, so Chuckie makes them promise not to play in the trash. And his friends decide not to keep their promise. And now that they're all infested in germs, there's only one thing for Chuckie to do.
Now I'm not afraid of no germs.
Even with his germ-protecting suit, Chuckie still looks out for germs in every game they play. But his friends have a plan to house Chuckie upside down and eventually out of his germ suit and back in the trash.
No!
Mr. Clean is a classic Chucky episode that has me cringing at the sight of them playing in the garbage and laughing hysterically at Chucky as Mr. Clean, a superhero that really cleans up the trash. And I think it's probably because I was a pretty neat kid, not to the extreme that Chucky goes, but I definitely would not have been playing in trash at any age.
That kid just gets weirder and weirder.
It starts with what seems to be a normal day of the babies playing in the sandbox. Quickly wanting to play something else, Tommy suggests they should all go to Spike's doghouse. Chucky is surprised by Tommy's choice. Chucky asks Tommy if he's sure he doesn't want to do something a little bit more on the dangerous side. Tommy decides not today. And this makes Chucky feel like this is gonna be a great day. Nothing bad could possibly happen. And then suddenly, the walk to Spike's doghouse puts Chucky into some crazy, weird world.
It's weird. Do things seem a little, I don't know, strange around here?
Strange indeed. But things are only about to get weirder for Chucky as Spike is living in a mansion and even talks. Well, this trip down Wonderland comes to an end and turns into a terrifying nightmare.
I'm not Tommy.
The next day, Chucky tells his friends about his dream, but Chucky quickly starts to realize he's still in a dream. The next day... Or is it? Chucky starts to tell his friends about his dream. I would say again, but remember, he didn't actually tell them before.
Already told ya. Oh yeah, that was a dream too.
Anyway, Chucky starts to question whether he's really there with his friends or just dreaming again. Tommy, Phil, and Lil try to convince Chucky that he's not dreaming, but he's not buying what they're saying and starts to feel like he's invincible. The logic being that if he's dreaming, then he can't get hurt, because you can't get hurt in a dream. Because it's not real. Well, I guess whether he's dreaming or not is about to be put to the test.
Hello, Mr. Monster Dog. Long time no see.
In the Dreamtime is a unique Rugrats episode that works really well because of Chucky. I think his character is the only one that could make this work. I feel after the first season they were able to take the show so much further into crazy, awesome episodes. And it's because they really started using the Chucky character. I love seeing it in Chucky's dreams. And I myself can come out of a dream where it takes me a while to escape that dream and come back to reality. Even more so as a kid. So I always thought this is a really cool episode.
I'm not Stu.
Today's the day you get a big surprise.
Chucky's friends wonder why he's so happy.
I just got up from my favoriteest place in the whole world.
Little does he know this big surprise is a new bed. That means his favorite place in the whole world is going bye-bye. Jess explains to Chucky that everyone has to sleep on a bed eventually, but he doesn't really get any comfort from it and can't believe he's expected to sleep on this thing. Chucky's first night in his new bed instantly gets scary.
What was that? Oh, there's something down there.
A monster's not really living under his bed, 'cause monsters are not real, right? I mean, it's just something that kids go through.
Things don't live under beds.
Chucky tries to convince himself that there are no monsters, but the voice under the bed is trying to convince him otherwise. Finally, he decides to take a look to find out.
There's no such...
So now Chucky doesn't just feel like his favorite place in the whole world has been taken from him, but also that his new bed has a monster living underneath it. Talk about your whole world being turned upside down. Tommy, Phil, and Lil try to convince Chucky that monsters are real, but they live in swamps and caves and stuff.
place they don't live is under bed. Oh, brother!
Tommy's going over to Chucky's for a sleepover and tells him he's got to face his fears or he will be scared forever. So Chucky and Tommy set out together to face Chucky's fears. Now, if only Tommy could count the 3.
1, 2, 2.
Oh, just pull the blanket already. Well, the monster turned out to be just Chaz's sweater. Under Chucky's bed is a really cool episode that has an awesome feel to it. I remember being real young and seeing crazy monsters and evil-looking shadows on my wall and waking up and realizing, oh, it's just my Ninja Turtle toy or something. Watching this episode always makes me think of that. Also, who doesn't like monsters? Some of my favorite movies growing up had monsters in them. Meet Melville.
What's a Melville?
Well, he's not a marble or even an eyeball or even candy for Lil to eat. Nope. Melville is Chucky's new pet. He's like what Spike is for Tommy.
But Melville's not really like a dog. Yeah, he's really more like a bug.
Yep, Melville is a bug, but that's not what Chucky sees. He sees a friend. Someone who listens to him and never makes fun of him and shares his deepest, darkest secrets.
Melville's the bestest thing that ever happened to me.
Chucky spends the next day in his backyard with his new pet, Melville, and it's truly heartwarming to watch. I believe having a pet can be one of the greatest things ever, and Chucky finds that in this little tiny bug.
I never told that to anyone before. It's so easy to talk to you, Melville.
Chucky, now at Tommy's house, asks him and Phil and Lil to watch Melville while he goes to get him food. Watching Chucky worried about leaving Melville and the way he takes care of him before he leaves is adorable. He cares for Melville with such love. It's special to watch.
You sure he'll be all right? He'll be fine, Chucky. And don't let him spoil his appetite with grass. I'm bringing him a good dinner.
Little does Chucky know that this will be the last time he will see Melville alive. Yep, that's right. Once Chucky walks away, Melville dies. And for some reason, Lil knows what dead is.
Or maybe he's dead.
When Chucky comes back, he goes into denial and pretends Melville is still alive. He eventually accepts what happened, and it crushes your heart.
Tommy, Melville's dead! He's really dead! Why did he have to die?
But Chucky is not the only one who is hurting. As you can tell, Tommy really cares about his friend. The next day, Chucky acts like he's over Melville. But soon the truth is shown. As Chucky breaks down in tears, he remembers Melville. But it's okay. He wants to remember Melville.
I don't want to forget Melville. Melville was my friend.
Chucky, Tommy, Phil, and Lil decide to give Melville a funeral so Chucky can say goodbye. While Phil and Lil are telling a story about Melville, Chucky learns a valuable lesson about losing someone.
From now on, when I remember Melville, I'm gonna be happy. Thanks, guys.
I Remember Melville is an emotionally filled Rugrats episode as we see Chucky dealing with the death of his friend, Melville. This is a pretty heavy subject matter for kids, and soon after this episode, Chucky finds out about his mom's death, so you can say Chucky knows a lot about loss at a very young age. I usually like episodes like this that pack a lot of emotion in it. And now it's time for... Did You Know? Did you know that on the episode Showdown at the Teeter-Totter Gulch, Chucky mentions that he met Tommy when Tommy was only 8 days old? That's right. As Tommy is about to have a showdown with Junk Food Kid, Chucky mentions to Belinda about the day he met Tommy, a day he will never forget. And did you know the third season episode Moving Way actually contradicts this by ignoring the backstory they already gave the characters by telling a story about how they all met? So, when did Chucky meet Tommy? Well, I guess that's up to the viewer to decide. Tommy, Phil, and Lil had become mesmerized by a disc, but Chucky thinks taking his dad's disc is not such a good idea. But that doesn't stop his friends from manipulating him into getting the disc.
Look how shiny it is. And look how round it is.
Right after Chucky takes the disc, Angelica walks in and steals it, making Chucky feel like he's lost his dad's disc.
You! This is all your fault! Huh? I told you I didn't want to play with that toy, but you had to make me!
Chucky instantly feels bad about snapping at his friends and decides to tell Angelica all about it. Instead of being a friend to him, she decides to, well, be herself.
The bottom line is, we'd all be a lot better off without you.
Chucky decides there's only one thing for him to do, and that is to run away. As I watch him run away, I think about how evil Angelica is, to make him feel so bad about himself. Just about to walk across the bridge, Chucky hears something that is very familiar.
Hey, I don't think that's such a good idea. Who said that? Me!
So Chucky meets his gardening angel, who's going to show Chucky what life would be like without him. They appear at Chucky's house, and from the look of things, it looks like Chaz has been living with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Gangway dudes, hot pizza's coming through.
Chucky, you may not like what you're about to see.
Since Chucky's dad never had a child, he is kind of a crazy person who talks to a sock and eats pizza all day. Oh, but this is just the beginning.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
All over the neighborhood, babies are running amok. A world without someone to tell everyone it's not such a good idea is a world of chaos. We learn that Phil and Lil in a world without Chucky are completely out of control, and that their parents are pretty useless.
One baby, one mature, responsible, somewhat cowardly baby.
In the words of Chucky, this is bad, Angel Guy. Real bad. Yes, Chucky is right. This is bad, but there's still one place to go. Tommy's house.
Angelica took his toys. But what about his house? She also took his house.
Yep, it's a sad world without Chucky, one where Angelica has taken everything from Tommy, even his parents, as they slave to all Angelica's needs, baking her treats all day.
It gets worse.
Oh, and it does. As Angelica shoves her face with cookies as Tommy begs for food, Chucky wonders, how could this have happened to Tommy? He was always so brave before. He learns that it's him being Tommy's friend and always standing behind him that has given Tommy the strength to stand up to Angelica. This is the last straw for Chucky. He's tired of this world without him.
I don't think running away is such a good idea.
Chucky's Wonderful Life is, of course, a parody of It's a Wonderful Life, and this has been done many times in movies and TV shows through the years. And I'm not really a big fan of the movie, but I seem to really like some of the parodies of the film, as I put an Alex Mack episode on my top 10 episode video that also parodied the movie.
I wish I'd never been born at all.
I also really like the animation on this episode. It's some of the best I've ever seen on the show. There's just no other word to describe this episode besides classic. Just classic. It's Captain Blasto.
You can run, but you cannot hide.
I'm sure you can all recognize that voice.
And that's Captain Blasto!
That's right, it's Adam West. Who better to voice Captain Blasto than the legendary Adam West? It's just so cool. Drew and Stu grew up on Captain Blasto and decided to take Chucky and Angelica to a taping of the show. Angelica's not too thrilled about it while Chucky's blown away by the superhero Captain Blasto. But it's not long until Angelica tries to kill Chucky's belief in superheroes.
There's no such thing as a real superhero.
Chucky tells his friends about seeing Captain Blasto with excitement, until he remembers what Angelica said. But Tommy, Phil, and Lil are not buying that Captain Blasto's not a real superhero. I mean, he's on TV.
Chucky, they can't put stuff on TV that isn't real.
Angelica comes by and steals Chucky's world and leaves him in tears. He wishes he could be a superhero and stand up to Angelica.
Chucky, maybe you are a superhero, huh?
Well, maybe Chucky is a superhero. Tommy tries to convince Chucky that maybe he is a superhero, but just didn't know it.
If I was a superhero, wouldn't I have a cape and stuff?
Chucky is right. A superhero needs a magic cape, and it needs to be one from Hotel Styx. Which makes me wonder, is this a reference to the 70s, 80s band Styx? Don't be a renegade, come sail away to the best of times with your babe to Hotel Styx. Well, Chucky has his superhero costume, which I think is pretty awesome. Now there's only one thing left to do. That is to put his superpowers to the test.
Probably just your mom sitting at the table drinking coffee. Wow! Can't pick up this chair. Wow! Now he's melting it with his X-rated vision.
This is it. There's only one test left, and that is, can he fly? If he can, this means Chucky really is a superhero. He did it! Chucky really is a superhero.
Stupid heroes more like it.
This is it. Chucky's being put through his first test as a hero. His first villain, Angelica. And she has the world in the palm of her hands. Can superhero Chucky save the world and defeat the evil Angelica? Oh, it won't be easy, as Chucky has lost his cape.
That's it. He's doomed.
Oh, but it's not over yet. There's something Angelica was not expecting, and that is Chucky power. Superhero Chucky's an amazing Rugrats episode starting from the first few seconds with Captain Blasto and hearing the classic Adam West. All the way to the end where Chucky realizes he doesn't need to be a superhero to be brave. He can just be regular old Chucky. To everything in between, this is just a top-notch classic Rugrats at its best. And who doesn't love the superhero Chucky costume? I know I do. I'd love to have this as a collectible figure, that's for sure.
Da-da-da-da! Superhero Chucky!
Chucky has a new friend in this classic Rugrats episode, and his name, of course, is Barney. After telling Tommy, Phil, and Lil about Barney, they instantly can tell a difference in their usually fearful friend.
You? Not afraid? Boy, Barney must be really neat.
Tommy, Phil, and Lil really want to meet Chucky's new friend, but Chucky keeps coming up with funny reasons why they can't meet him, like he can't cross the street, even with his parents. He lives in a castle, and wait, that's not all.
He would need his broccoli, so they sent him to prison. They can do that, you know.
But this doesn't stop Tommy from trying to meet Barney, as he gets his mom to take him to the park to finally meet him, as he heard that Barney could be getting out soon for his broccoli crime. Tommy hears Chucky talking to Barney, but when he goes over there to where Chucky is, Tommy, well...
I don't see anybody, Chucky. Well, that's because Barney is invisible.
The next day, Chucky and Barney go over to Tommy's, and he meets Phil and Lil, and they all have loads of fun together, with the help of all Barney's fun suggestions. Until he suggests they all go on the roof. Chucky, of course, does not think this is such a good idea, and must stop his friends at any cost, and share some very shocking news to do so.
He's not real?
Tommy, Phil, and Lil are shocked that Chucky could come up with such a cool guy. All these fun ideas he's been coming up with was just their scaredy cat friend.
It was me. Hey, it was me!
My friend Barney is my #1 Chucky Finster episode. And it has been since the first time I watched it over 30 years ago. Before watching it, I didn't really know about imaginary friends. I remember thinking by building this imaginary friend, it has given Chucky confidence to do things without fear. and it's really cool to watch. I also really love the ending where Chucky is standing in front of Tommy's house alone and he has a little special moment with Barney, where he tells him he's sorry for saying he's not real. It's one of my favorite moments in any Rugrats episode.
Oh, yeah, Barney. You'll always be my friend, too.
Well, that's it. My top 10 favorite Chucky Finster episodes. Yours may differ, and that's totally awesome. Everyone's favorite should be what they connected to or enjoyed the most. There is no right or wrong answers.
How do you even get to the moon? A ladder! But where are we gonna get a ladder?